You've probably found yourself in the situation where the game really isn't going your way. You feel like you cannot help your teammates at all because you're just not winning your gunfights. That's okay, everyone has those days. But I'm here to teach you how to still be influential to the game without winning all your gunfights. So get off YouTube or TikTok after you died and watch this video to learn how to give callouts like a pro. To give the best callout, you'll have to have some map knowledge. So that's why today's video will teach you how to build up your map knowledge, because this is crucial for correct callouts. After that, I'll explain to you how to give the perfect callout. I get this question quite often. How do I learn callouts and how do I get map knowledge? Well, there's a few things you can do, and I'll explain them to you today. I'll also explain to you how you can give the perfect callout. What should you or should you not call out to give the best information to win the round? The thing I always do when there's a new map or a map rework is just launch a custom game on that new map. Put the timer to maximum and just start running or walking around. Look down at the compass and try to memorize what rooms lead to each other and what the rooms are called. This will give you a general idea of where to go on each map. For example, Favela was very confusing to most people when it just got reworked. If you walk around on the new map a few times, you'll see that it's almost as if it's a big circle with rooms in the middle. Also, all the rooms on that map are color-coded, which makes it easier as well. I found this out after running around on the map for a little bit in a custom game. Once you're comfortable with the map, another thing I can recommend is to run around in a custom game every now and then with a sledge or a bug and see where you can create some nice lines of sight and get even more map knowledge. Another thing I do to learn callouts is just ask my teammates if they use a callout that I don't know. If we're in the middle of a round and I hear a callout like chimney on chalet, I will ask after the round what that callout is or what it means. Your teammates or random teammates will probably try to explain this to you. All these tiny bits help to add up to your knowledge as well. This also works for watching pro players or skill players when they play the game. If they use certain callouts you don't understand, you can always ask them or their Twitch chat what this callout means. Also, did you know that if you die, you can look at the compass and tell your teammates exactly what room that enemy was in? This means you can give some easy information without having to do or know all too much. If you really don't know what a room is called, but you want to give a callout, just try to describe the room or the item. For example, in Cigar Lounge in Cafe, you can call out that the enemy is near the clock, or even near the couch, or the stage, or the minibar. There's plenty of things that can help you describe locations of where enemies are. So without knowing what this room is called, how would you call this room? If you called them classroom or school, showers or bathroom, people will understand you. If you called them cigar or piano, bathroom or toilets, library or reading, people will understand you. And same goes for if you call these rooms throne, gong, lockers, or a dragon. Describing items that are in this room will make it easier for your teammates to recognize what room you mean. With more specific or special callouts, I can advise you to watch competitive games. There's loads of callouts used by the Siege community that are based off competitive players or famous people in the community. For example, I learned by watching competitive Siege what the callout Shaiko on Oregon downstairs is and what the callout Kento is on top floor of bank. If a caster, for example, mentions, oh, player X is playing at Shaiko or Kento, you can see where that player is. I asked this over on Twitter as well, and one often mentioned callout was on Chalet. Some people still call it K9, but a lot of others call it Flute Balcony now. Another often mentioned callout was Adam or Secret on Clubhouse. Most of the players and people mentioned are either pro players or players in the Siege scene that had to do something with that area on the map. Sometimes callouts are also related to shapes or objects. A few common examples are Zulu, which is often used for a hallway shaped in a Z. Oregon has one, Consulate has one, and on Coastline people sometimes call luggage Zulu. For example, on Border, the half-circle shaped desk in CCTV is sometimes referred to as banana. This also works for the hallway on bank leading towards the double windows on the top floor, because it's quite literally the shape of a banana. And this will happen to most corner hallways as well, because usually people call a cornered hallway 90. This is because the hallway has a 90-degree angle. So how do I build up my callouts? What should or should I not mention? And it's really annoying if someone just yells, over there, flanking, without telling you where from. Or if a teammate overcalls by literally telling you everything that the enemy is doing. Still, you'd like to describe the enemy's every move, but there's really good ways on how to do this. A few important things to mention in your callout. How low is the enemy? What room is the enemy? And is there maybe more than just one enemy? What stance does the enemy have? Is the enemy standing? Is he crouched? Is he prone? Where is the enemy heading to? You could see this in the kill cam, for example, after you've been killed. Where is the enemy looking at? Is the enemy even looking at your teammate that's approaching him from behind? Because if that's not the case, case, it could be a way easier kill to get. What part of the room is the enemy in? Is he on the north side, northwest, south side? You can call this out by using the compass at the bottom of your screen. And what is the enemy doing? Is he reloading? That might make it easier to push him. Is he holding an angle? Is he on cameras? All of this information might be crucial to have. I usually try to build up my callout like this. So I start with where is the enemy exactly? Room and location in the room. What HP is the enemy? And then what is he doing? This can be anything from where he's going to or where he's looking at. Here are a few clips where I've died, and I'll tell you what I use as a callout for these situations. This is where I'd call out a Blackbeard and Freezer, about 80 HP. I didn't get any info on whether I broke his shield or not, or where he's moving to. If you notice my phone drop out of my pocket, that means that they have a Dokkaebi in the attacking team. This might be useful to call out as well if it's early round. And this is where I'd call out that the Ying is in bedroom. She's full HP and moving towards landing. If my teammate was playing around Aviator, then this Ying going to landing might be a threat to them. For here, I'd call out that the Ying is on site and in front of the half wall. She's about 50 HP. I can't see where she's moving, so I won't mention that. You won't hear it in this clip, but I heard one of my frostmets in small box get activated as well. That's something I'd call out to. How do I give callouts with randoms without my randoms screaming at me? Well, we all know those randoms that have their webcam mic activated and talk way too much. So how do you give the good example and help your teammates with accurate callouts? If you die in game, it is so much more helpful to just give a brief callout than to open your mic just to curse. Another few things I'd like to do when I solo queue is, if my teammate deploys a flank drone, or a drone in general, I'll tell them I'm watching to flank him. I try to give short but clear calls. Try to stay away from overcalling, because this will probably infuriate the random teammate. If you have specific calls to get with friends or people you play with often, remember that these might not make any sense to your random teammate. For example, I'm used to calling the corner behind the bunk bed in Oregon Hobo, because there used to be a soup can with Hobo on the floor there. Not everyone might be familiar with such a callout. Another thing to keep in mind is that if your teammate is in a clutching situation, they probably have a different view or different knowledge of the situation. This makes it so that the random teammate probably plays the situation out differently than you would have done, and that's okay. I try to keep this in mind for my own sanity when I'm solo queuing. Giving calls to a clutching teammate is okay, but remember that they also need sound when they're clutching. It's okay to call out utility they still have, such as drones or nades, but don't be too pushy on it. They might get infuriated with that. This is an example of how I give callouts with randoms. I used a yellow ping, but I still explained what was going on with that enemy. If they're crouched, that means my teammate needs to pre-fire on a different height. And if the person is looking at your direction, it might be a tougher battle than when they're just looking away. Ibana's in Visa hallway. Just crouch walking towards Sparrow.
Okay.
Intellers. Just look at the spiral stairs, so crouched in the middle of the doorway on ping. Nice.
Reloading, cover me!
So that concludes my guide on how to give game-winning callouts. If you've liked the video, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. I've been absolutely blown away by the support on YouTube as of recently, and I'm really thankful for that. We're still on the way towards the goal of 10k YouTube subscribers, which is crazy. And if you want to learn more about Siege, make sure to check out some of my other videos, such as these 15 easy Siege tips or my ace guide. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.